All right, Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. Excuse me. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Ba'ath Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations, okay? Tonight's lesson is going to be entitled The Life of a Wanderer. Now, when you look up the word wanderer in the etymology, wanderer, let me get it real quick. Let's just look up the word wander, meaning to move about aimlessly, to roam about, to move about aimlessly or without any destination, often in search of food or employment. To move or, let's see. Basically, the best definition is to move about aimlessly or to wander without any destination, often in search of food or employment. So, all right, I'm going to start off with 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. And it says, "And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away." All right, that means that the things of this life are only temporary. Eventually, it's going to be gone. You can't hold on to it. That's why, you know, we part of counting the cost and bearing your cross is to let this shit go. It's only going to slow you down. It's going to hinder you being in this truth. All right. Verse 32. "But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belongeth to the Lord, how he may please the Lord." Verse 33, "But he that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife." 34, "There is difference also between wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy, both in body and in spirit. But she that is married careth for the things that are of the world, how she may please her husband." 35, "And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that you may attend upon to the Lord without distraction." Okay? So, basically, you know, like, you know, if a man has a wife, you know, she can become a distraction and vice versa. If you're alone, you have no distractions. You can focus mainly on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. When you come into this truth, you really, I mean, brothers and sisters have families, husbands, wives, and all that. But, you know, when it comes to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, he comes first in all things. You can't let anything else get in the way of that. You know, you can't let your husband or your wife distract you if they're not in the truth. If they don't believe in what you believe in, you know, it's kind of like, you know, that could be a problem for you. So you gotta deal with that kind of situation wisely. All right. Next is going to be 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha. Excuse me. 2nd Esdras, chapter 16. Second Esdras, chapter 16, starting at verse 40. And it says, "O my people, hear my word, make ye ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." So let's look up the word pilgrim and the etymology. All right, pilgrim. person traveling to a holy place as a penance or to discharge some vow or religious obligation or seeking some miracle or spiritual benefit. A traveler, generally a wayfarer, a crusader, a foreigner, a stranger. Well, the scriptures do say that us Israelites were foreigners in a strange land. In fact, let me get it. But first, before I get that scripture, let me continue this. 2 Ezra 16 and 41. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. 42. He that occupieth merchandise as he that had no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap. Also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. So it's going to get to a point where people are not going to be setting up shop and or buying or selling, because once all hell breaks loose, it's going to be desolate. You know, buildings are going to be destroyed, homes just broken into, destroyed, burnt down. It's basically going to be a graveyard out here. You know, just a ghost city, dead. All right, now, let me get that script before I get to the, okay, so this is going to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, 28 and 64. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end, even to the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay. See how Bashim Yahushai scattered us all over. Okay. Because we refuse to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. So let me get the other script I was talking about. This is going to be the book of 1 Corinthians again. First Corinthians, I think it's chapter 12, verse 2. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Verse 2, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Okay? We were called Gentiles because, and Gentiles, well, the Israelites are Gentiles, just meaning Israelite foreigner, but the reason why we were called that is because we took on the customs of the heathen, pursuant to the book of 1 Maccabees. Maccabees is in the Apocrypha. Let's see. 1 Maccabees. First Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 11. And it says, this, 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Verse 12, so this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, and who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. All right, so we turned our back on Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and went astray. Okay? As you can see right now, 2/3 of Israel, they follow after the ways of the world. You know, these philosophies of man, these heathenistic customs, false gods, and all that. Gonna go to Jeremiah. It's gonna be Jeremiah chapter 12. Chapter 12, verse 9. And it says, "Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour." So this is the Lord speaking. Mine heritage, meaning his his people, his nation, is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Her being Israel, because Israel's likened unto a comely, delicate woman, and the birds round about her are talking about the other nations. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field. The beasts of the field also representing the heathen nations, come to devour. So they overtook us. So you're gonna have Israelites that look like the other heathen nations, like a so-called white person, so-called Asian, so-called African, so-called Arab, so-called Pacific Islander or Polynesian, so-called Assyrian, Syrian, so on and so forth, Middle Eastern, Indian, Hindu. We're gonna have Israelites are scattered all over. The point I'm trying to make here is that we are foreigners in strange lands. Okay, this America is not our land. All right, now getting back to, I just wanted to bring that out just for edification, but I'm going to back to Second Esdras. This is going to be the 14th chapter. This is going to be, excuse me. Let's see here. This is going to be the Second Esdras chapter 14, verse 13. And it says, "Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption." 14. "Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, and put off now the weak nature." Verse 15. "And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times." Verse 16. "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." Okay, so we have to get ourselves together, okay, and put off that weak nature. Stop being so emotional and effeminate, and stop holding on to the things that are only temporary in this life. You know, you got your job, your car, your house. It don't mean shit. None of this don't mean anything. And this is cold-hearted as this may sound, but just to be blunt and truthful, as the scriptures say, even if your family's not in the truth, you know what, you're gonna have to, let them go too. Verse 16, "For yet," and in the sense to set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee. So, just stop worrying about things that don't really matter, that are gonna cause you they're gonna hinder you, stop you from progressing and growing. And, most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. And to haste, prophesy, hasten the day of the coming of the Lord, man, by bringing out the prophecies, bringing out the scripts. Let this shit go. This worldly stuff is going to pass eventually. In verse 16, "For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." So if you think what's going on right now is bad, you have no idea what's coming within the next couple months going into next year. It's going to get ugly, really ugly. All right. This is going to be the book of Proverbs. It's going to be chapter 29, verse 18. And it says, Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Okay? So, being this truth, we have to be visionaries. We have to have our mind set on the kingdom and what's to come. You know, what the Lord is promising us. So that's why we have to be visionaries, because, you know, that's what's going to motivate us and keep our mind on this truth. That's what keeps us in the scripts. You know, you have to envision what these scripts are really saying in order to get and of course study the Hebrew and the Greek words, look them up to get to get the true and better understanding. But you have to be a visionary as well. You know, just kind of envision what the scriptures are really saying to you. Okay? Without that vision, there's no motivation, there's no drive. It's just like you just don't care, become complacent. Ultimately, the Lord's going to have to, pay you a visit, and you know what happens when that happens. And Lord willing that, He don't take the Spirit from me. So, as pilgrims or wanderers, because that's pretty much what we are. We're basically like nomadic people wandering, moving from place to place, because we have no certain dwelling place, man. Not in this society, because Edom could take what we have away from us whenever he wants to, because he's the one in rulership. He has the power. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 13. It says, "Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness." Okay? So, we're looking for new heavens that dwelleth, new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. We're looking for newer and better things to come, man. Because this ain't what we're dwelling within now. This ain't shit. This is shit. That's what this society is. It's shit. Even the heathen know it's shit. Verse 14, "Wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless." Okay, so, be diligent in searching out the scripts and having that vision in mind as, being a wanderer or a pilgrim. You, of course, stay out of trouble and look for newer and better things. And that you may be found blameless, that nobody can say any evil against you. In fact, this is going to be the book of 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. And it says, "Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts which war against the soul." Verse 12, "Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that where as they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works which they shall behold glorify the Most High in the day of visitation." Okay? So, as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lust, which means practice discipline and self-control, which war against the soul. Because, the spiritual, we war after the flesh, but we don't walk in the flesh. Roughly paraphrasing. Okay? We war against the flesh. I mean, we fight. This is a fight, a spiritual fight, to control your own flesh, your own body. And as I said in verse 12, having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify the Most High in the day of visitation. So, as long as you keep yourself honest, keep your integrity, it doesn't matter what they say, because you're not doing any wrong. They're just being hateful, as they say, you got haters. That's You know, that's the thing with this modern day society. People are jealous. Jealousy, man. And they're jealous of us because we got the truth. And the Lord's with us and not with them. All right. All right, this is going to be the last one. This is going to be Matthew. Matthew 6 and 33. All right. Damn it. And it says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." Okay? So, put Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai first. He's priority number one over everything else. And once you do that, and if your ways please the Lord, you know, he'll give you what your heart desires. So, just follow him, do as he says, and you know, in prayer, ask, and ye shall receive. And you know, the reason why I did a lesson on this is because, you know, we're coming into that time where, you know, once they make the juice and the digital bug mandatory, talking about the MOTB, the RFID, you know what, once they make those things mandatory, and, you know, we refuse them, Lord willing, you know, in that hour of temptation, you know, because once those things become mandatory, we won't be able to buy, sell, or trade, meaning we won't be able to go into the stores, we won't be able to get food, we won't be able to order things offline, we won't be able to do anything. We'll basically be homeless. And that's where faith comes in, you know, just have faith that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to, you know, provide for you. As the scriptures say, my servant shall eat. Pursuant to Isaiah 60, the 66th chapter. All right? So, you know, just be prepared for that life as a wanderer, a pilgrim, a nomad, basically. So, and there's a movie that perfectly describes that, and that movie's Rambo, Sylvester Stallone. How he like all the Rambo movies, basically how he moves from one place to another, like a stranger or a pilgrim. He's just moving around looking for a dwelling place, looking for food or employment. I mean, we're not gonna be looking for employment at that time, but that's just an example. But yes, you get the idea. So with that, I would like to give all the honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessing to all the Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat Dawada, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad, I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Ababa Bal, Shalom, Barakatam.